Hello English 1101 students. It is late Sunday night, the night before week 8 starts, and I am making this video now because I can't really wait to say what I have to say. So I'm going to go ahead and post this video tonight, and it'll be up all week. There's a couple things that I need to talk to you about. One is I have finished grading the personal narratives, and I've just finished grading them. And I have to tell you, I'm extremely unhappy with the way that these narratives turned out. Out of the entire class, 3 students got a passing grade. Everybody else got a failing grade because of too many grammatical mistakes. I've said it before, grammar is extremely important in college writing. We spent the first 2 weeks going over the grammar rules, and it doesn't look like anybody learned anything because honestly, I reached the 25 error threshold very quickly on just about every paper. So you guys need, if you want to raise your grade on that narrative, you have until next Monday, October the 10th. There is a handout in D2L, and I actually had to put together a new one because D2L changed its look and changed the procedures for doing what I want you to do. So I've got the brand new handouts made up. I just posted them about 5 minutes ago in your page. You go into the useful D2L handouts folder, and when you get there, you're going to see a handout that says how to correct errors. Open that handout. Follow it step by step. Go through your paper. Correct the errors I've marked. And then I did not finish reading anybody's paper. You've got to then go through the rest of that paper, taking what you've learned by correcting the errors that I pointed out. Because if you made that error about 5 or 6 times, we went over sentence fragments, we went over run-on sentences, we went over spelling, we went over all this stuff, and yet these papers were a mess, a complete mess. So go through that paper. If I've marked 6 fragments on that first page, you've probably got more fragments on the next page. You need to go find them and fix them. But I'm not going to point out every error for you. You have to show me that you can edit your own paper. Because honestly, if you don't improve as a writer and you don't learn how to have better grammar, you'll be taking this class again in the spring. And, that's just the way it works. You have to show improvement as a writer in this class. You don't have to be the next great Stephen King, or you don't have to be the next, Charles Dickens, but you do have to show some improvement if you want to get to 1102. And some of you are going to need to show a lot of improvement. And here's the most upsetting thing. This is the thing that really infuriates me the most. There were some students that turned in exactly the same paper for a final draft that they turned in for a first draft. Did not make a single correction. Folks, I gave those papers Fs. I am not going to mark the same errors twice. I am not going to make the same comments twice. If you don't want to take the time to make yourself a better writer by reading my comments, and folks, it takes me a long time to go through those first drafts and make all those comments. If you don't want to take the time to read those comments and actually address them and try to make a better paper, then I'm not gonna waste my time. I'm just going to stick an F on that identical paper and move on to the next one. If you really don't care, there's nothing I can do to make you care. So that's really the worst one, is the fact that there were papers that were identical to the first draft, not a single correction. If somebody tries to make a correction and then makes another mistake, that's forgivable. That's part of the learning process. It's not forgivable to not make any corrections at all and think that I won't notice, because I will notice, because I pull up the first drafts. In fact, for some of the ones that did make corrections on the papers, I said, wait, I didn't tell you to do this in the first draft, or that's not what I meant in the first draft, things like that. So, really, you've got to care. You've got to put forth an effort in order to pass this class. If you don't want to, like I said, you can take it again in the spring. All right, now for the compare-contrast essays. Like I said, I read those first before I graded the narratives. I almost wish I hadn't, because I'm beginning to wonder if people are not going to take my comments to heart, why I wasted my entire weekend. And it took me 2 days. It took me Saturday and Sunday to get through those compare-contrasts. But if nobody's going to address the issues that I bring up, then there's no reason for me to read those first drafts. So honestly, you know, read those first drafts, because right now I'm beginning to think like I just threw away an entire weekend by reading those first drafts and making comments on them. So take the time to read them and make an effort at least. You know, they don't have to be perfect, but make an effort to try and make them better. Now, there's a quiz this week. It's a critical thinking quiz. Your syllabus actually says that there's a research quiz and a critical thinking quiz. That's not true. I have deleted the research quiz. You don't have to take the research quiz. Just go into your syllabus or your schedule and scratch that out. There's no research quiz. However, there is still that week 8 quiz, and it focuses on critical thinking, and it focuses on Aristotle's 3 modes of persuasion. This is going to be one of the most important lessons you learn from me this semester, because critical thinking is a skill that you're going to need not only to make your papers better after I point out the errors, and it takes critical thinking skills to do that, but also in the workplace, in personal life. You have to be able to take in information, process it in your mind, and then come to your own informed conclusions, not the conclusions of, say, Fox News or of MSNBC. Your own informed conclusions that you have come to by processing the information you've got. That is a crucial skill, and it's a skill that's going to be necessary to succeed in the 21st century. So take this critical thinking lesson from this week to heart. Take it seriously, because that is why you're in college, is to become a better critical thinker. So that's it. That's it for this week. So make your corrections on the compare and contrast. I would suggest you make your corrections on the narrative first, because you're going to have to edit those compare and contrast. Because if you had 6 sentence fragments or 8 sentence fragments or something in your narrative, there's a pretty darn good chance you're going to have 5, 6, 8 sentence fragments in your compare and contrast as well. So learn what those mistakes are, find out how to find them, find out how to fix them, and then go and fix them. And remember, we went through grammar the first 2 weeks of this semester, so you've already been given some exposure to how to find and to fix grammatical mistakes. Now you have to do it in your own writing. You're not going to be able to do it on chompchomp.com anymore. Now it's a useful resource, and you can still go back and do those drills if it'll help you. In fact, I'd recommend doing them if it will help you. But now it's time to edit your own papers. Please put forth an effort, and I'll be looking for those quizzes to be completed this week, and I'll be looking for those final drafts of the compare and contrast and the corrected narratives to all be turned in by next Monday, October the 10th.